Hey guys, and welcome back. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so I figured I would go ahead and do a very smoky, pretty, sexy Valentine's Day date night look. So after I realize that my hair is looking a little cray-cray, I get on with the look. Here we go. So the first thing I'm going to dip into is the NYX Ultimate. This is the Warm Neutrals palette, which I just feel like the colors would be perfect for a Valentine's Day look. So I'm just going to start by priming with some concealer, per usual, nothing new here, and then setting it with the lightest shade in that palette. For my transition shade, I'm going to take this brown colored eyeshadow and take that on a fluffy brush and put that right into my crease. I'm going to use a lot of circular motions with this look because you will get a flawless blend when doing it this way. The next shade I'm going to use is this really pretty dark brown maroonish type of shade. And on a more precise, dense brush, I'm going to basically keep that right into my crease. I don't want to take this up too high, but I'm kind of going for somewhat of like a cut crease with this look. At this point in time, I really didn't know exactly where I was going with this look, but I'm basically just going to sweep that right over that transition shade. And again, use a lot of circular motions and just build it up to the intensity that I want. This shade that I'm using now is a really plum purple dark shade, and you kind of got to be careful with this shade because if you go too high with it, you're kind of going to look like you got punched in the eye. Purples are pretty tricky to work with, so I really just concentrate on patting this on the outer V of my eye and building up the intensity. And then when a majority of that product is off my brush and on my eyelid, then I start sweeping it up into my crease. Again, just making sure I'm not taking it too high, but just making sure that everything is blended together. That way it's just gonna give you a beautiful smoky eye. And right here, Lil Wayne said some crazy stuff and it really caught me off guard, and I'm like, holy crap. All right, Lil Wayne. You got some attention from me there, man. His lyrics are out of this world sometimes. Anyway, back to this look. So I'm taking that first fluffy brush that I used for my transition shade and just with no additional product, taking it on the outer parts of the eyeshadow just to make sure everything is blended and looking flawless. Now I'm going to dip back into that shade that we used in my crease and just put more in there. I wanted to really define the crease and make sure again that it was blended. So I'm just defining it more and building the intensity up. For the inner half of my eye, I'm going to take Urban Decay's, I think this is Midnight Cowboy. It's a beautiful shimmer eyeshadow, if I can open it and not drop it. It's sparkly, it's pretty, it's girly. So I wanted it to go on the inner, kind of like the inner corner, inner half of my eye, but it just wasn't giving it to me just by itself. So I use a little bit of concealer and just blend that out and then place it back on the concealer, if that makes sense. And then again, I was like, let's make this a little more intense. I want to make sure that it pops. So I go in with my finger. If at any point you feel like your eyeshadow just isn't giving you life, I'm telling you, go in with your finger or setting spray. It is a great trick, hack, whatever you want to call it, because for some reason it just always brings an eyeshadow to life, especially shimmer shadows. Once I got the intensity from that eyeshadow, I go back in with that brush I used for my crease and blend that shade into the dark purple shade that I already had on my eyelid. And then again, I take that shade again on a more precise pencil brush and define my crease more, giving it more of a cut crease effect. I went ahead and popped my lashes on. These are Kiss lashes in the style Poise, just to save some time here. And I'm gonna prime. So I'm gonna use a new primer. This is by Dr. Brandt. It is the Illuminizer Primer. And I'm just gonna put that exactly where I would usually highlight. So just on my cheekbones, above my eyebrows, my chin, and the bridge of my nose. And as you can see, hopefully you can see, it really just gives a beautiful glow to the skin. I am loving this stuff. And then no surprise here, I'm going to use a Benefit Professional on the apples of my cheeks. Right now, I'm in like the awkward self-tanning stage. If anybody self-tans, you probably know what I'm talking about, where there's none left on your face, your neck is kind of patchy, you need to scrub the rest of it off, but you just haven't gotten there yet. So I was going back and forth between my foundations, and I was like, well, let's go with this one. I'm going to use the Maybelline Super Stay 24-Hour Foundation. Wow, that's a mouthful. And I freaking love this foundation. It is my go-to foundation right now. And then you already know my trick is I have to use the Mario Badescu on my damp beauty blender. It makes any foundation go on like butter. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way and the NYX, I think it's like the HD Photogenic concealer, and just mixing the two. I love mixing concealers. I'm going to set the concealer with the Cover FX setting powder, and that's all I'm going to set with this powder, is just exactly where I put that concealer, just to kind of give me a highlight. And then I'm going to take the MAC Studio Fix powder foundation and use this for my contour. So I'm going to contour my cheeks, put some on my forehead, down my nose, on my jawline, just the typical normal places you would contour. And then for an additional little bit of like chiseling of the face, I'm going to take the Benefit Hoola Bronzer and just concentrate this basically in all the same parts, but really concentrate it more on the cheekbones. And then I'm going to go in with that stippling brush again and just blend everything together. For blush, I'm going to take the Real Her blush kit and take the middle shade called Limitless and just give myself a really pretty rosy cheek. I guess that's what you would call it. But I forgot how pigmented this blush is. So at least in person, it looked a little crazy. But I think on camera it looked good. So then I go back in with the stippling brush and just blend it out. And of course, it ain't a Christy Nicole video unless there is a dance break in between doing my makeup. So moving on, I'm going to tightline my upper waterline with just a black eye pencil. I think this one's from Ciate. And then for mascara, I'm going to use the Lash Paradise mascara and then move on to the lower lash line. So I'm going to take that same shade that we used in the crease and take that on a pencil brush and just really start to smoke out my lower lash line. I'm going to keep this shade more on the outer corner and middle of my eye and not bring it all the way into the inner corner. I'm going to take this pink shimmer shade and just blend it in with the shadow that we just used, just so everything looks more obviously blended and give it a smoky effect. Yeah, did you really think I was going to not use glitter? I mean, let's get real here. Come on, we had to use some glitter, okay? So let's go ahead and put some glitter right in the inner corner of my eye. I mean, come on. It's Valentine's Day. We gotta look like shiny and shit, right? You know? Now for highlight, I'm gonna use the Flower Beauty palette, and this is my new favorite go-to palette. I'm gonna take the middle pink shadow and put that on the inner corners of my eye and on my brow bone. I'm also going to take it on my cheekbones, above my eyebrows, my nose, my chin, my cupid's bow, exactly everywhere you would normally highlight. I also did mix in that white shade too, so I mixed the middle shade and the white shade for my highlight. When choosing this lip color, I decided I was going to go for a more monochromatic look. So this shade is from Galactic. It is called Demure. And I guess I went with everything matching my shirt too. So I'm just all kinds of shades going with my shirt with this look. Then to finish off the look, I spray my face with the Ofra Makeup Fixer Setting Spray. So I think this is a great Valentine's Day look. I hope you guys like it. And if you do, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.